Even said it publicly. When it comes to defending this country that has suffered for so long and nobody came to the help, I don't need permission from anybody.
When the West tries to make African nations fight each other and attack their sovereignty, this is the response they receive now. Gone are the days when African nations were in a bind and could not speak out, even when faced with propaganda. Now they speak confidently, and no one can silence them. In a recent speech, Paul Kagame talked about the Eastern Congo conflict and was unafraid to share the truth. However, he ended up going too far, revealing secrets. Do you want to hear what he has to say? Let's talk about it. In recent discussions surrounding the Eastern Congo conflict, a prominent figure has addressed the complexities and challenges faced by the African nation. Amidst concerns about the conflict's origins and accusations against Rwanda, it becomes imperative to delve deeper into the situation and unravel the multifaceted dynamics at play. Who is responsible for the Eastern Congo conflict? In recent discussions surrounding the Eastern Congo conflict, Paul Kagame has ardently defended Rwanda's innocence, asserting that the country did not spark the unrest that continues to grip the region. Kagame, a key figure in Rwandan politics, calls for a thorough investigation to shed light on the complex dynamics of the conflict, challenging the prevailing narrative that implicates his nation. Acknowledging the ongoing strife in the Eastern Congo, Kagame highlights the importance of analyzing the situation unbiasedly. He urges the international community to conduct impartial investigations to uncover the truth behind the conflict's origins. Kagame's stance is clear. Rwanda is not the troublemaker of the Eastern Congo conflict. He calls for a discerning evaluation of the evidence before passing judgment. In straightforward terms, he challenges those who hold the opposing view to provide compelling evidence that refutes his claim. The core of Kagame's argument lies in unraveling the complex web of factors contributing to the Eastern Congo conflict. He asserts that a short-sighted focus on Rwanda as the sole culprit oversimplifies a situation rife with historical, political, and socio-economic complexities. By advocating for a finer examination, Kagame aims to prevent the perpetuation of a one-sided narrative that may breed misunderstanding and hatred. Kagame's call for impartial investigations is not just a strategic move to deflect blame, but an appeal for a fair and objective understanding of the conflict's genesis. The leader emphasizes the need for a comprehensive approach that considers all relevant factors contributing to the volatile situation in the Eastern Congo. Kagame urges the international community to get the whole picture. He contends that relying on surface-level information may lead to misguided conclusions that fuel tension and hinder conflict resolution. His call for a deeper, more comprehensive analysis resonates with those who seek a genuine understanding of the Eastern Congo's plight.
Being a fact, go and investigate and prove me wrong. Rwanda never got involved in starting this fighting that.
As you look deep into the matter surrounding the Eastern Congo conflict, it becomes evident that Kagame is defending his nation and advocating for a broader perspective that fosters informed dialogue and cooperation. By challenging the widely accepted notion of Rwanda's culpability, Kagame aims to encourage a more inclusive discourse considering the many factors at play.
You try to do some research, do some inquiries, you do some intelligence. Rwanda did not in any way create this war that is happening in Eastern Congo.
The leader's straightforward language reflects a desire to communicate with clarity and transparency. Kagame does not mince words when he emphasizes the necessity of a detailed investigation. He invites scrutiny, confident that a closer examination will vindicate Rwanda from the accusations that have been levied against it. So, Kagame's plea for a fair assessment of Rwanda's role in the Eastern Congo conflict is a plea for justice and understanding. He acknowledges the gravity of the situation and the need for a collective effort to untangle the complexities that perpetuate the conflict. In doing so, Kagame hopes to contribute to a more constructive dialogue that paves the way for sustainable solutions in the troubled region. his talks bring forth a captivating perspective that delves into the possible ties among hate speech, the forced displacement of communities, and the fundamental motivations propelling the Eastern Congo conflict. According to Paul Kagame, there's a suggestion that these elements might have been shrewdly manipulated, creating a skewed portrayal of the conflict's roots and adding layers of complexity to the overall situation. But does he mean the West is involved? What is the war caused by? Who is responsible? And why would someone do it? The prolonged and complicated Eastern Congo conflict has unfolded in the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of the Congo DRC, involving numerous armed groups, the Congolese military, and various regional and international actors. Several groups, such as the Democratic Forces for the Liberation of Rwanda (FDLR), the Allied Democratic Forces (ADF), the March 23rd Movement M23, and various local Mai-Mai militias, have been key players in the conflict. According to the West, the involvement of neighboring countries like Rwanda and Uganda has further complicated the dynamics, as these armed groups vie for control over the region's resources, perpetuating the conflict's longevity. But is it proven that they want dominance over Congo? Geopolitically, the Eastern Congo conflict has strained relations between the DRC and neighboring countries, particularly Rwanda. Accusations and counter-accusations among various armed groups and regional actors have added complexity to an already intricate situation. This geopolitical fallout has contributed to the ongoing challenges in achieving sustainable regional peace. The humanitarian toll of the conflict is devastating, with recent escalations in violence leading to a rapid deterioration of the humanitarian situation. Increased violence has resulted in heightened food insecurity and widespread displacement across the region, impacting the civilian population significantly. More than 15 million children are bearing the brunt of armed conflict, hunger, and disease outbreaks, painting a grim picture of the consequences of this prolonged conflict. But is it only Rwanda to blame? Here's a reminder to please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Black culture, history, civilization, and identity. Let's continue now. At the heart of the matter lies an exploration of how hate speech, the displacement of people, and deeper motivations intersect in the context of the Eastern Congo conflict. Kagame's assertion implies that these elements weren't random occurrences, but were employed with strategic intent to shape a narrative that diverges from the actual genesis of the conflict. Kagame hints at the possibility that hate speech was used as a strategic tool, fostering hatred and division within communities. This, in turn, could have played a role in the orchestrated displacement of people, further unsettling the region. By connecting these dots, the discourse points to a potential strategy of manipulation that obscures the true driving forces behind the Eastern Congo conflict. It implies a calculated effort to divert attention from underlying issues, constructing a narrative that perpetuates misunderstandings about what sparked the conflict. In a broader context, this linkage between hate speech, displacement, and the hidden motivations behind the Eastern Congo conflict prompts us to reassess our understanding of the situation. It challenges us to move beyond a surface-level examination that focuses solely on the visible acts of aggression and instead considers the fine factors influencing tensions in the region. Kagame signals that there could be more to the story than meets the eye. The deliberate use of hate speech and displacement, according to his perspective, acts as a smokescreen, diverting attention from the deeper motivations fueling the conflict in the Eastern Congo. It is crucial to approach discussions about the Eastern Congo conflict with a discerning mindset, recognizing the potential strategic manipulation of hate speech and displacement calls for a thorough analysis beyond superficial observations, delving into the complexities of the conflict's dynamics. But why are the people displaced? This suggests that there is someone who is trying to displace the people so they can use the lands and resources for exploitation. And while Rwanda criticizes it, it proves someone else was behind this. Can it be West? Let's first see what other points prove Rwanda is not guilty. Here comes M23, a rebel faction entangled in the Eastern Congo conflict. Paul Kagame casts doubt on the connection between M23 and Rwanda, challenging the presumption that Rwanda holds accountability for the group's deeds. Stressing the need to distinguish reality from belief, Kagame paints a scenario where M23's activities are depicted as having no direct ties to Rwanda's interests. But what involvement does M23 have in this entire matter? The March 23 movement. M23 has played a significant role in the complex landscape of the Eastern Congo conflict. Emerging in April 2012, M23 is a direct offshoot of the National Congress for the Defense of the People (CNDP), a rebel group engaged in conflict with the DRC government from 2006 to 2009. According to West, the ties between M23 and Rwanda are notable. But this comes with no credible reports suggesting Rwandan support encompassing the provision of arms and ammunition, aiding recruitment efforts, and extending military, logistical, and political assistance. This association has fueled the group's involvement in offensives against Congolese military forces and allied militias, resulting in substantial violence and human rights abuses. The presence of M23 has significantly added to the complexity and intensity of the ongoing crisis in the region. Kagame, however, raises an eyebrow at the automatic linkage of M23 to Rwanda, disputing the assumption that his nation should shoulder responsibility for the actions of this rebel faction. Kagame's challenge to the association between M23 and Rwanda introduces an element of skepticism into the broader discussion. He prompts a re-evaluation of preconceived notions about the conflict, urging a more careful examination of the relationships and motivations at play. By advocating for a fine understanding, Kagame encourages a departure from oversimplified attributions of blame. Kagame says, "Let's not jump to conclusions." He questions the automatic assumption that M23 is a mere extension of Rwanda's agenda and calls for a closer look at the specifics. The speaker challenges us to avoid accepting a narrative that simplifies the complexities of the Eastern Congo conflict by solely attributing M23's actions to Rwanda. According to him, the people in the M23 are not even from Rwanda. Take a look at what he has to say.
I asked specifically, I said, and asked that one responsible for Congo. I said, we are not going to address anything unless you come out clearly to tell us facts about the situation. I asked him, I said, are these people in M23 Congolese or not? And he said to me, and there were other leaders in the meeting, that absolutely, these are Congolese. I said, fine. So how do they become our problem? How do they become Rwanda's problem?
But are there any efforts to end this conflict? Paul Kagame has to say about this too. He focuses on the diplomatic works addressing the Eastern Congo conflict, shedding light on instances where leaders engaged in discussions to tackle the issues at hand. However, the disclosure reveals that these efforts encountered hurdles, marked by unproductive talks and extended hotel stays, without resolution. This highlights the profound difficulties surrounding regional diplomacy and the formidable challenges in resolving the conflict peacefully. Kagame's insights provide a glimpse into the diplomatic world where attempts were made to navigate the complexities of the Eastern Congo conflict. Leaders engaged in discussions hoping to unravel the knotty issues that fuel the turmoil. However, the disclosure that these talks face challenges implies a deeper difficulty in reaching common ground. The mention of unproductive talks highlights the frustration and impasse of diplomatic efforts. Despite the sincere intentions to find a resolution, the discussions seem to have hit roadblocks, possibly due to divergent perspectives, entrenched positions, or underlying complexities that defy easy solutions. The image of prolonged hotel stays without resolution paints a vivid picture of the endurance required in diplomatic endeavors. Leaders invested time and effort in prolonged discussions, indicating a commitment to finding a peaceful resolution. However, the lack of tangible outcomes suggests the formidable nature of the obstacles that hinder progress in resolving the Eastern Congo conflict. Kagame says the diplomatic path to resolving the Eastern Congo conflict has been no walk in the park. Despite sincere attempts, leaders faced unproductive talks and prolonged discussions that failed to yield a resolution. It acknowledges diplomats' tough reality when dealing with complex and long-standing conflicts.
They said they had wanted to solve the problem politically. They invited Some of the leaders of this group took them to Kinshasa, that they wanted to talk to them and resolve the problem. These people, the leaders of this group, went to Kinshasa. They are put in a hotel, spent 5 months without seeing anybody to talk to them until they left. Of course, they left heavy bills behind in the hotel. Nothing else.
How will Rwanda save itself from all these accusations? In the accusations and detailed complexities, the speaker, Paul Kagame, emphasizes Rwanda's unwavering determination to safeguard its sovereignty. Drawing on a historical perspective, Kagame highlights that the country will undertake necessary measures to defend itself, refraining from seeking permission from external entities. This stance directly responds to the nation's history of facing and overcoming challenges independently. The speaker's assertion highlights Rwanda's commitment to protecting sovereignty amid accusations and complex dynamics. Kagame's emphasis on the historical context suggests that Rwanda has a track record of confronting challenges on its terms, without relying on external permissions or interventions. The message is clear. Rwanda is prepared to take whatever steps are essential to secure its sovereignty. This resolute stance reflects the nation's historical experiences, implying a self-reliant approach rooted in the lessons learned from navigating past challenges without external interference. Kagame essentially says that Rwanda won't back down when defending its sovereignty. As we analyze Kagame's proclamation, it becomes evident that this determination is not merely a rhetorical stance, but a reflection of a deeper ethos ingrained in Rwanda's history. It suggests a sense of self-reliance and resilience integral to the nation's journey.
I've even said it publicly. When it comes to defending this country that has suffered for so long and nobody came to the help, I don't need permission from anybody. To do what we have to do to protect ourselves. I have said it in broad daylight. I have said it to those who matter in this problem. And that's what is going to happen. You go home, sleep, don't do anything.
And according to Paul Kagame, how is Rwanda dealing with international propaganda and criticism? Paul Kagame addresses the insults and criticisms directed at Rwanda from various international quarters. While asserting resilience against verbal attacks, the speaker acknowledges that the international community has realized its mistake in underestimating Rwanda's strength. The lessons learned and the evolution of Rwanda's global perception are emphasized. The discourse contemplates as Kagame confronts the insults and criticisms of Rwanda on the international stage. Despite these verbal attacks, the speaker stands firm, expressing a resilient response to the adversities faced by the nation.
We have nothing to lose. We will fight like people have nothing to lose. And somebody will pay the price, other than ourselves.
Acknowledging that the international community has recognized its misjudgment in underestimating Rwanda's strength, Kagame highlights a significant shift in global perceptions. The speaker implies that the resilience demonstrated by Rwanda has compelled a reevaluation, leading to a more accurate understanding of the nation's capabilities. The crux lies in the lessons learned from enduring unwarranted insults and criticisms. Kagame suggests that Rwanda's ability to weather these verbal storms has proven its resilience and prompted international entities to realize the nation's true strength.
I have not answered these insults that are coming from the south, from the west. Those ones don't kill. So I cannot, that's not us. But they learn something with time. They learn something that they made a big mistake. Absolutely, big mistake.
But what gives him so much confidence to say all this up front? The confidence is coming from the youth. Paul Kagame expresses unwavering confidence in the readiness of the youth to defend the country. Drawing parallels with historical periods of resilience, the speaker commends the young generation for their dedication to safeguarding Rwanda. However, Kagame emphasizes that Rwanda does not seek to provoke conflicts but remains steadfast in defending its sovereignty when necessary.
That's why I was telling the young people, happily who seem to be like in those years when we were still young. I've seen our young people they are really ready to fight for and defend this country. But we don't provoke any situation. We don't, in fact, we've even refused to be provoked. We are provoked and we...
The speaker's forward-looking perspective centers on the belief that the youth are well prepared to step up and protect the nation. Kagame draws on historical examples of resilience, possibly invoking moments from Rwanda's past, to highlight the strength and capability of the younger generation. Commending the commitment of the youth to safeguarding Rwanda, Kagame applauds their dedication to the nation's security and well-being. This recognition underscores the young generation's pivotal role in the ongoing narrative of the country's defense and prosperity. However, Kagame quickly clarified that Rwanda's stance is not about seeking conflict, but maintaining a steadfast defense of sovereignty when necessary. This fine position signals a commitment to peace while simultaneously asserting the nation's readiness to protect itself in the face of potential threats. Do you think Rwanda should be blamed? Will the officials let West blame it? What is the reason behind this propaganda? Does the West want to exploit Congo? In the comment section, let us know why the West is making African nations fight. Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If yes, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon next to it. We have decided to bring videos on something nobody talks about: the Black culture, civilization, history, and evidence about how glorious Blacks have been. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, stay tuned.